Did you want to talk about Elon being booed?
Well, I mean, look, that's got 6.1 million views, that clip right there. And I'm sure the clip itself has been reposted. It's probably got 20 million views total, all the places it's been reposted.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle brought him on stage at the end of a show in San Francisco. And the crowd boos him.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the take is there. I know people on Twitter essentially suggesting that he's getting a taste of how people feel about him on Twitter, but in real life. And there's no doubt that not everybody's a fan of his. Definitely not. I mean, you got maybe 20,000 people in there. And then Dave, I guess, who invited him, obviously, is kind of trying to make it comedic, as you would as a comedian. But the whole thing seems relatively uncomfortable. And Twitter had a field day with it. People on Twitter. They good on them. It's fuel to the fire. This is how this combat seems to take place. It's shots in this direction and back. And then you get this evidence of real life discomfort and booing, and it goes like wildfire,
Yeah.
The people love it. They love to see it. What can I say about it, Will?
I mean, I would consider this like payback, as a way of like embarrassing Elon on Twitter.
But there's no way that was Dave's intention. Like, they're legitimately
not at all.
friends.
No. But yeah, like you said, everyone who hates Elon just adds more fuel to the fire. Like, this is what happens, when you get too big and
it's almost
this stuff.
It's almost expected, right? I think the part that's a bit surprising is that the two of them thought, like, they seem surprised. They seem surprised by it, and no, maybe they had a conversation before, like, hey, we might be booze, okay, all right, and maybe everybody was cool with it. Like, I don't really know. And in the end, what does it really matter? Like, I guess it bruises the ego a little bit, but what is really the effect of it? I'm not sure. Maybe he moves out of San Francisco. This took place in San Francisco. He laid off a lot of people in San Francisco.
Yeah.
To be clear. And yeah.
Maybe they knew that this would happen,
It's all but concocted, you're saying?
He decided to go out anyways.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know if he fancies himself comedic. I mean, he obviously posts funny memes and went on SNL. But it's a lot different when people came to see Dave Chappelle and then you walk on and there may or may not be crossover.
But dude, that's the nightmare.
Just getting booed by 20,000 people? Yeah,
the stadium crowd just booing you.
A lot of people, some of the takes that I read was he should have said something because he was uncomfortable, right? But it's so hard to say. I mean, it's so easy to say it from the sidelines after the fact. If you really aren't expecting it, I mean, he could have just turned around and walked away. But I don't. I think you say something. I don't know what you say, but I think you say something. I'm not sure what would overcome me in that moment, or yourself, or whatever. What you might be compelled to say, but I think I would probably make some noises.
Animal noises?
I will probably say something.
Oh, okay.
I feel that I would, but I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't engage. Maybe you say something real quick.
Yeah.
Maybe you say something real quick.
Yeah. But even saying something, it's like, while you're there, it's like, it's just stunned, It's hard to tell what to do.
Yeah, it's amazingly effective booing. Just loud, consistent booing. Just boo. No. You can't really get much done like that.
That's terrible.
It really drowns anything out. All you can really do is leave, now that I think about it. And I think that's why the boo exists. Like, it's a performance thing, right? Yeah. You have a stage, you have the audience. The audience has the right to boo. And the performer, which is what you're essentially being in that case, the performer is kind of at the whim of the audience to a certain extent. If they don't really want you there as a building full of 20,000 people and they can make enough noise. Now, I'm not saying everybody was making that noise, but it was enough noise. It's kind of democratic in a way. They voted. Nope, don't want to hear from you. Now, he had a microphone, so he could have combated or he could have attempted.
Yeah.
Right? He could have attempted to charm them as a comedian might do in a hostile environment. But it turns out that that's a real skill to that. And it probably often doesn't work, particularly when you're bringing that much baggage into it as far as people's perceptions of you.
For sure.
But that's it's their freedom of speech.
It was just so raw, that clip, being the richest man in the world and kind of poking fun behind a screen, but it becomes real when like you're in front of 20,000 people. So,
yeah. Well, I think you've just hit the nail there as far as like most people will never be in front of 20,000 people.
Yeah.
They'll never even have the opportunity to be booed.
So what would you do? Just like freeze.
It sounds weird, right?
Yeah.
It sounds weird. You would never think of it as an opportunity to be booed, but Dave Chappelle isn't inviting you on stage or me.
Yeah. And people want to see Dave.
No, but what I'm trying to say here is that to be on the sidelines suggesting, you got what you deserved, it's like you're not even being invited. You're not even in the game. You're not even an important enough character to be booed in this, in these terms.
Yeah.
I'm putting myself in the same category.
Yeah.
Like, in a way, this guy is so polarizing at the moment. It's like indifference is not a thing associated with him. It's like he's got people that practically worship him. And then on the other side, he's got people that despise him. Or I don't know if despise might be strong, but the equivalent of worship, but on the other end.
But also money plays a factor.
It's very Trump-like.
Because he's very, very rich.
It's Trump-like, though. It's Trump-like in a sense that it's all velocity. And we talked about this back when his tweets were tremendous in terms of velocity. It's that weird mix of being loved and hated that creates ultimate internet velocity. And then this balancing act of managing two groups of people, those that hate you and those that love you, but it eventually encompasses almost everyone that knows about you. And there's very few parties that can have that level of popularity and not have that type of setup amongst the user base.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, gladiator.